Welcome to Fade in the Books. Whether it's between the lines or beyond the three, we got the picks you need to bring in the green. So sit back, relax while we put in the work because this team right here is so damn thorough. Yes. Welcome to another video. Fade in the Books. Fade in the Books. Give yourself a round of applause here. We got a pretty good matchup for this Sunday morning game in London between the Rams and the Jaguars. Brandon, you want to give us a little insight into this matchup for Sunday morning?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a really good matchup finally because last week was a straight stinker with the Jets. This week we got the Rams 4-2 versus the Jaguars 4-2. I think the winner of this matchup in both divisions is up there tied with the division leaders. So I think it's a huge matchup for both. Key injuries today will be Puka Nakua, leading receiver, out. Ugh. It's gonna be tough on a lot of books. It's gonna be tough on a lot
Yeah.
of books. Devin Lloyd, linebacker for the Jags, is gonna be out as well, but I think they're pretty good on defense, especially on that front seven there. And then I think the Rams have a couple of linemen out as well, so it should be a pretty good offensive matchup today.
Yeah.
What you got?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a pretty decent game. Matt Stafford is definitely going to have to spread the ball around, to his other guys out there on the field. The Jags, as we discussed before the video, this is a must win game for them. You know, um, so I mean, they didn't get the running the ball, last game, but I think they may try and get back to maybe getting the run, keep this Rams high powered offense. Even without Puka, they can probably still put some points up in a hurry. With Kyron Williams, he's a dual threat, but I think we'll probably see about 50 points being put up.
Yeah, definitely. If we was doing over under, honestly, 50 points probably be the good target there. With the
Yeah.
Jags itself, I think that Trevor Lawrence is actually getting very comfortable in the Cohen offense. So they're kind of starting to see a little bit eye to eye. But anytime you have a new coordinator, new head coach with a new quarterback, it's always supposed to be some turmoil at the beginning. And seeing how we just now got past the first quarter of the season, he should be settling down for that offense to actually get rolling. I'm just waiting on them to incorporate Travis Hunter a little bit more. I wanted to see a little bit more with Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
They tried to, but I mean, I don't know. He's still a mixed bag for me with Travis Hunter. Brian Thomas is finally starting to show his his dominance like he was last year with his rookie last year season. At first, I thought he had that sophomore slump where I was like, man, what's going on with him? But he's starting to pick it up the last couple games and showing who he truly is. Matt Stafford, man, let's just keep him up. They can keep him like upright, Matt Stafford's still gonna be Matt Stafford. He can sling the ball around. Not having Puka his bailout is gonna hurt him a lot today, but I think he gets Higby back for the second game now, so I think that'll be huge for them. And then both of them also have really good running backs, Travis Etienne and Kyron Williams as well.
Yep. Funny that you mentioned Higby because Higby is on two of my three picks for the day. I'm gonna start off with his first one of 25 yards receiving. Um, I think I'm not sure what his line is. I want to say maybe 30 or 40 yards, maybe his line is at right now. Um, I like Higby at 25. I think that's a nice medium for the price. Um, Higby is the Rams' number one receiver. Without Puka being there, Stafford probably will rely on him a lot more. In the passing game. He's a tight end who can make some plays for you. Um, Against this Jag defense, who ranks 29th in pass, that right there says a lot. Whether it's receivers or tight end, they can't pretty much cover it. They can't cover nobody. And Stafford being a veteran quarterback, Super Bowl champion, I think he can get it done. What you think about that pick?
Yeah, definitely. I really like that pick, especially at the 25 yards. His line right now is 30 and a half. 25 yards is a gimme to me, honestly. I think they will try to line up Travis Hunter a lot on Devontae Adams, which is going to be their number one receiver there, and then try to utilize Tutu Atwell a little bit in like the slide and the motion and things like that. But the most consistent person that they have on the team for as a veteran is going to be Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee is a big target, right over the middle, and he's going to be Matt Stafford's safety blanket with Puka Nacua being out. So
Hmm.
expect a lot more targets for him um, until Puka Nacua comes back.
Yep. My second pick, we're gonna stay with Tyler Higbee. I'm taking him for an anytime touchdown. I think this might be my first anytime touchdown pick of any of our videos, any of our picks. I think it is. I like Higbee in this spot. He's the number one target in the red zone for the Rams at 34.6%. With this Rams offense, two out of the three top targets in the red zone are tight ends. So
Hmm.
with Puka being out, Puka being the second, most targeted in the red zone, I think that's going to give, more opportunities for, Tyler Higbee and other guys, maybe even Kyron Williams coming at the backfield, to catch something. But I said, if I take an anytime touchdown, I think Tyler Higbee in his first game might be, a nice look.
Yeah, yeah. With anytime touchdowns, those are always high variance picks. Like it can go
Mm-hmm.
either way. But I really like the targets in the red zone for Higby as well. If they can make it down to the red zone, again, the Jags defensive front, their front seven there is actually pretty solid. So I don't know if they're going to be doing a lot of like pounding it in there. They tried it against the 49ers. It didn't really work out too well for them. So I think that the play action and throwing them out for the little leak outs will be pretty good in the red zone. Get him down for the red zone, and he's a big target. Tyler Higbee is a big target. You can't go wrong with the big targets. I think the Joe Flacco showed you that yesterday, or what was that? What game was that? Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Joe
Mm-hmm.
Flacco showed you that Thursday night, and Aaron Rodgers. Hey, use your tight ends. Use your tight ends.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Aaron Rodgers, not Joe Flacco. Aaron Rodgers. He used all 17 tight ends they had over there.
Yeah, and they got Tyler Higbee at plus 310 for an
Okay.
anytime touchdown. So 310 for the most targeted player in the red zone. Why not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? So all right, what you got? So I guess you'll be up two in a row. What you got
Yeah,
for us?
yeah, yeah. Like I told you, I think it will be a high scoring offense, high scoring game itself. So I'm taking Trevor Lawrence for 200 passing yards. He is averaging a little bit over 200 yards a game. Um, but I think when they're in prime time, Trevor Lawrence tries to air the ball out a lot. And then he will be looking at Brian Thomas and his tight ends and Travis Hunter a lot in the air. I think Kyron Williams may have a lot to do with that one. Not Kyron Williams. Travis Etienne may have a lot to do with that in the passing game as well. So I got Trevor Lawrence for 200 yards passing.
All right, I like that play. I think it's a safe play. I think I think he's covered that line in pretty much every game, maybe.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, I like I said, I'm not big on Trevor Lawrence or whatnot. Sunshine, but I think this game, they in this stadium here, they're below 500 as far as their win loss, but uh, the Jags they love it over in London. I think they don't play the most games over in London than anybody, so that fan base will probably be 90% them. So I think that's gonna
Yeah.
give them a boost over there. But 200, I think that's a pretty safe play. With Trevor Lawrence going up against this Ram squad.
Yeah, they will have plenty of opportunity as well to actually get that. Um, and in order for him to get that, he will have to actually mix it in a little bit with that run. And I think that that's where Travis Etienne will play a big part in it. And his line right now is like 58 and a half or something like that. I like it going down just a little bit to 50 yards there because they're
Hmm.
going to have to mix it in a little bit with that run in order to get that pass to go. Honestly, I would probably adopt the philosophy, pass the score points and run to win the game, honestly. And if they can build out a good lead, I can see the running game being key in the second half there with Trevor Lawrence passing in the first half. So 50 yards for Travis Etienne seems to be about doable. And also, he needs to get right game. He needs to get right
Hmm.
game. I think the Rams led up 70 something yards to Jonathan Taylor. They let up 120 something yards to Derrick Henry. They're okay with the run, but you can run on them. They're a team that they can be ran on as well.
Yeah, just looking at some numbers here, the last two games he's been under 50 yards, so I think this may be a good bounce back spot for him. The Rams are like middle of the pack when it comes to rushing yards. So when you look at when I look at a team being the middle of the pack, I kind of like players right at about their average or a little bit below their average when they play them. You
Hmm.
know, if they was like a bottom five on run defense, then I'd be like, yeah, let's take NTN at 60, 70 yards,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
50, with him being, the last two games under 50 yards against a middle of the road Rams defense, I think 50 yards is very attainable. And again, playing over in London, they're, they're going to have, it's going to be like almost a home game for them, basically.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
absolutely.
think, I'm also, I see about, there's a few other running backs that went over, you know, those yards against the Rams, those rushing yards. So 50 yards is very attainable for NTN.
And a lot of people, a lot of teams that plays the Rams, their game plan is to keep the ball out of Matt Stafford's hands, and that's one way you can do it is keep the ball out of his hands, run the ball. Honestly, just run the
Hmm.
ball. I know Travis Etienne didn't get his yards against Seattle and against Kansas City, um, but he tried. He tried. Seattle's run defense is actually really
Yeah,
good.
they're real good.
Um, and he only had 12 attempts that game, but he's normally averaging about 14 to 15 attempts
Yeah.
a game. I know they had. Let me see. Yeah, he's averaging almost 5.3 yards a carry. 5.3
Hmm.
yards a carry is actually pretty good for 50 yards a game. For just 50 yards, I like that. I like that play.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna go ahead with my third pick, and I'm taking Kyron Williams at 15 receiving yards. This is just basically a play with Puka being out, and them needing to get that Jags defense to move around and create a lot of one-on-one matchups. Um, and Kyron Williams coming at the backfield is a problem for anybody one-on-one.
Yeah.
Um, he's a pretty good back coming out of the backfield.
Hmm.
He gets about, let's see, he's averaging what, about 3 targets, almost 4 targets a game. Um,
Hmm.
and we're looking at 15 yards. He's covered that line, and let's see how many games has he covered that. 15. He's covered it in the last two. You know, and
Yeah.
one of them was against Baltimore when Puka messed up his ankle. So
Yeah.
I think they're going to continue to use Williams coming out the backfield, running some routes, getting some one-on-one matchups against those linebackers. What do you think about
Yeah.
that one there? Yep.
Absolutely. I really love Kyron Williams' scrimmage yards in general. Like I like his rushing and his receiving yards, his scrimmage yards in general because he's a complete back. He's one of those running backs you don't have to take off the field. Um, with him in receiving yards, he is averaging 3 yards a game or three. I'm sorry, 3 catches a game. And with that type of running back, any catch can go for whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
he's averaging 3 yards, but he's getting almost 25 yards a game in receiving yards for the season this
Yeah.
year. So I really like that, especially with again with Puka. I can't stress this enough. With Puka being out, eh, other guys got to step up, and
Mm-hmm.
they got to step up in ways in which they normally don't. But this is a ways where he can step up, and he has in previous years stepped up into the passing game as well.
Yep. Hey, you want to go ahead with your final pick for this game right
Oh,
here?
yeah, the final one. I want to take Brian Thomas Jr. for 60 yards receiving. He is the most targeted receiver on the Jacksonville Jaguars there, and he's the most reliable receiver as well. In order for them to be successful at all, Brian Thomas Jr. has to be involved. He has to be involved early. He has to be involved heavy, honestly, because anytime he's involved early and heavy, they have a really good win rate with them, or they're in most of the games with that. and I really like his one-on-one matchup with any corner they got over there in LA. Um, he has approximately 48 targets and 24 receptions of the year, almost averaging 4 receptions per game. So I really like that there for 60 yards for Brian Thomas Jr.
Yep. Excuse me. Again, that's one of them plays where it's like the Rams being in the middle of the road with the with the rushing and defense. I like to take players right about their line or a little bit below. Um, so 60 yards, that's definitely at 158 on FanDuel right now. That's pretty good value, for Brian Thomas. He's covered that line the last two games.
Hmm.
And again, them out in London. I can't stress this enough that it's gonna be, like the Rams are a little ways from home. The Jags, this is like a second home to them. The people in London, they love the Jags. So I think that's going to be a little bit motivation for, this Jags offense or whatnot. And I think Brian Thomas is going to be a big part of it tomorrow.
Yeah. And whenever I look at one particular person, so if I take in one receiver and I look at it and I try to compare it to like how the defenses play a receiver that's kind of like him. So I just go back just to the last game where the Rams played the 49ers when Kendrick Bourne actually went off for 142 yards reception. Um, I'm not saying Brian Thomas Jr. is going to go off for 142 yards, but he's capable of definitely going through there. And the way they did it, it was really easy. They let him get downfield, and Brian Thomas Jr. If you let him get downfield, he's probably one of the better contested catches and downfield stretching receivers in the game there.
Hmm.
So that's why I like the opportunity there. Um, Trevor Lawrence, I'm not sure what I think about Trevor Lawrence, but when he's on this game, he's on this game, and I really like how he can get his receivers the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, with closing, I just think that if the Jazz can get the running game going, I think that's just going to open it up more for Brian Thomas Jr. Um,
Yeah.
Not a lot of one receivers failed. They failed. When I say fair, fared well against the Rams.
Oh
But
yeah.
I think if they can get the run game going, that's gonna make it a lot easier for Trevor getting his yards and Brian Thomas getting his. So with that being said, these are our picks that we got uh, for this first game over in London. Um, I like these picks, for this first game. This sets us up for the rest of the evening right here. So with that
Hmm.
being said, um, you got any last words you want to throw out there for the people?
Nope, just stay tuned for the afternoon picks. We will do some afternoon picks later today and
Yeah,
pay the books.
both videos will be out. We'll one to be out right at noon. The other one, maybe 30 minutes after that. Um, with that being said, we're out of here. Remember to fade the books.